Craig Revel Horwood joins us right now, fresh from stage. Craig, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you.
And here we are, darling.
Here we are indeed. Do you know what? I want to start with something quite deep, actually, off the back of what we just said, because you're in show business, right? You have been in show business for many decades. So people always assume that you're always surrounded by people you love or you like. But is there also similarly, is it quite isolating? Because you make lots of transient relationships, but it's quite hard to make really deep relationships.
Well, being on the road is very, very different, of course, because you're travelling all the time. So you have friendships within the company, but as you say, they're transient. But then you always catch up where you left off in the last show.
Right.
And I generally, if I'm doing a show, I make one friend out of that particular show that I will probably see again and then again. And over the years, I suppose I can count, my closest friends being 10, actually.
Right.
And that's sort of all you need, really. I mean, if you're going on Facebook, darling, or Twitter,
Yes, that's different.
Thousands.
Yeah.
No, I did a recent cull on Facebook, because there were just too many people. It was ridiculous, because I just want people, to talk to about private things. And it's very, very different when you're a celebrity. You can't really trust many people. So it's imperative that you have people around you that are your friends that you can trust. I mean, I've been betrayed before with stories sold on me and all of that stuff. So
by people that you thought people you thought you could trust.
I could trust, and they were my friends. Yeah, which is disgusting, actually.
What does that do to your
I learned
confidence?
To get rid of those type of people.
Right.
It's just weird. People will sell you out.
Do you think you can spot them?
So it is
a mile off?
Well, I can now, and I just surround myself with my oldest friends, to be honest.
Right.
I've got friends in this country that I've had for 31 years.
It's amazing.
Which is fantastic, and we get together. We make sure we get together every month, no matter what. Even if I'm, like now, in Manchester, I've got some of them coming up on my day off. And, we'll go out for dinner, we'll catch up, do all of that. But we always make a point of meeting up. And I think, friendship takes work. Friendship is a commitment, so the people that aren't succeeding need to, I'd say, commit themselves just that little bit more. It's hard work maintaining friendships. And it's like a marriage in that way. You have to work at it.
But, so many people have said that you work so hard, but clearly you had recognised early on, or maybe not, maybe this is something that came later, that you have to get that balance right between working and then having relationships that are nothing to do with work.
Absolutely, but it's important that that's planned, and it's important that you fit that into your schedule. Otherwise, you will end up just becoming a workaholic and a loner. My father did, but that was through alcohol abuse.
Yes,
He sort of moved away from everybody and didn't really have any friends in the end, and lived by himself on a farm in the middle of Australia, sort of in the middle of nowhere, and died that way. So it's quite sad. So when you see that happen, but that was because he was an alcoholic. So it's very, very different, if you're not. You do have the power to create these relationships and maintain them. And as I say, it's work, and you have to do it because everyone needs people to talk to. Otherwise, you literally go insane.
Of course.
I think you have to talk through problems just for mental wellness and well-being. And we want to enjoy life. That's the thing. It's only very, very short, darling. And I think it's really important to do what you want to do and have fun. There's so much misery around that I think it's really important to create that fun. And it's up to the person, I think, to create it. I'm the one that will say, make suggestions. Oh, why don't we go here? Why don't we try this? Why don't we do that? Oh, why don't we go on a weekend away? Why don't we, and I arrange that so we can all actually meet up, because not everyone, all of my friends, aren't rich or anything. So we go on camping trips, or we'll just do something really, really cheap, get a cheap cask of wine, darling, and go to the park.
The simple pleasure. Go to the park?
No, just simple things.
Hanging around at a bus stop with Craig Revel Horwood drinking
Primrose
alcohol
Hill,
pops.
darling.
So how much of how successful you are is based on a reaction to what you saw your dad becoming and saying, I'm not going to be that?
I suppose as a kid, I grew up with my father being like that. And we never really had any, like mum and dad never really had friends come around to the house. Because dad would rather sort of get drunk by himself, you know, so we never really had any parties. We had, well, I remember 3 in my childhood.
Wow.
Of where, you know, mum was cutting up cabana and, you know, little bits of cheese and pulling them on sticks with pineapple, darling. Yes, it was back in the 70s. But I do remember that, you know, so I always make an effort. I'll have a New Year's Eve party. I'll invite people, like friends of friends as well, so you get to know other people.
Amazing.
You know, it's important to have new friends, I think, as well. So, but I suppose, yes, I probably have, I guess, based a little bit of how I am now on how I saw my father, and I think that probably does affect you. But I think, you know, I'm very lucky that I have been able to maintain some really fantastic friendships with people over the years, and very, very lucky to have that tight-knit group of friends. And I think what helped was actually when I was in a house share, we were called the Heartbreak Hotel. You know, I formed really, really strong friendships with all the people in that house. There were 6 of us. And since then, 2 of which have sadly passed away. But the others that I live with are still around, and we always meet up. You know, we make an effort, no matter what jobs we're doing. I mean, I'm in Australia for 3 months a year, and I had friends over there, of course, when I was growing up, and I left when I was 23. So, and I still make an effort to go and see them. And it's great. And I think, you know, that's the thing that you have to do. I think a lot of people think, oh, you're a celebrity now, you wouldn't want to call me, or we can't meet up, and all of that stuff, which is absolute rubbish, because I don't put a price on that sort of thing. You know, you can't on friendship. And I think it's wonderful to have really good friends, and important to look after your family as well, of course.
You must be knackered. I mean, you're doing Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs at the Manchester Opera House. Okay, you're doing Strictly as well. I mean, there's only so many hours in the day. Okay, I mean,
well, I'm also writing a book that I'm releasing next year as well.
We'll get you back on for that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, definitely for that. And I'm releasing an album of duets too that I'm working on. But I love life, and I like being occupied. I also like sitting and watching, you know, box sets on Netflix. So I enjoy that. I enjoy doing that with other people, so you can talk about it, I have to say. And it gives you something in common.
Do you watch yourself back on Strictly?
Oh, no. Watch myself back? Yes. I don't think so. No, I can't stand the sight of myself. Unless I'm in drag and in a fabulous wig.
Oh, amazing.
Then I like that.
Oh, the week
But that's what's great. I mean, you know, Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs is a fantastic show. And it's so brilliant being here, because the Mancunians, darling, are loving it. They are, I have to say, the loudest audience I think I've ever experienced. The booing literally is deafening, which I love. So that's all going well. And I'm having a great laugh. It's a fantastically brilliant company as well, really talented. And it's great to be in Manchester for my first Christmas in Manchester, which would be fantastic.
So you're the baddie, right? Hence
I play the Wicked Queen. I don't know why people think of me like that.
Can't think why.
Potentially.
Outrageous. Have a word with your agent. Can't be
I'll have a word
typecast
with
like
myself.
that. Typecast like that.
No, this is my 12th year of doing Panto, so it's really fantastic, and I love it. It's just, I don't know what I'd do at Christmas otherwise. Probably get fat.
How enjoyable.
Because I love food so much.
How enjoyable is the process of changing into this character? I mean, when you were in drag on Strictly, it looked unbelievable. Amazing. And I just wonder what it must feel like to just metamorphose.
Well, I think it's interesting because you start adapting the character in the mirror as the eyelashes go on. And that would be for any character. Even when I was playing Captain Hook, you know, I would put the I'd put the eyeliner on and then smudge it and then start becoming the character. And I think that happens with actors all the time, that they look at the image that they're trying to create and then you assume that character. I think that's important to do as well, because each character is going to walk and talk and sit differently, than you. So I just become her like I did with Dolly. I think that shocked a few people on Strictly, actually. It was good fun, though. And at least I didn't trip down the stairs. That's the only thing I was worried about. Going for a 6'5" tumble.
Did it shock you that there were hundreds of complaints when two men danced together on Strictly?
Yeah, well, I tell those people, don't watch, because that is the way the world is going. And if they don't like it, then turn off, or turn on to another channel, or don't pay your TV license if you feel that strongly about it. Listen to the radio. You won't see anything.
Oh, you won't get away from that here.
Darling, you've got to put makeup on to go and do a radio show. Don't you? Because they're all televised now. But I say to those 186 people, get a life.
Mm. Do you think Strictly should be in the forefront of it, or at the risk of being accused of trying to push an agenda, as some people would argue?
Well, it's not pushing an agenda. A couple, in Europe, just one. Dancing with the Stars. Australia's done it. Everywhere else has done it. We'll be the last ones to do it.
Which is weird, isn't it?
Well, not really. I mean,
why?
The British, if you consider, the stiff upper lip, darling, and everyone sort of, hiding their emotions in Britain in that way, unlike Americans who are loud and sort of proud and out there.
Australians are pretty brash.
Australians who are similar sort of thing. It's a lot to take on board, but I think the world is changing, and it has changed. And 186 people out of 12 million, darling, please, that's nothing.
It is nothing.
It's nothing.
Yeah.
Look, you'll get complaints if straight people are dancing.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's not. I don't think it's about that. I mean, they're just wanting to voice an opinion, which is fine. And in this day and age of things like Twitter, which is self-publishing, which is really sort of, I think, not great, because most people don't have diplomas in writing, do they? Let's face it. Or some people have not even gone to school and they're self-publishing. Can't spell, can't speak, darling, or, can't form a proper sentence, and they're writing and publishing. So it just sort of a bit upsetting that. But people, I think people are inclined. I think people can have their own opinion and should be allowed to talk about it. But they have to remember that it is being published and it's out there as a published article. And I think people forget that on Twitter and all social media.
They certainly do. Craig, what a pleasure to speak to you.
You too, gorgeous.
Take care.
Are you having a nice Christmas haul?
Yeah, without doubt, absolutely. Family and friends, and you're inspiring me to make sure I catch up with more of my pals. Craig Revel Horwood, thank you very much indeed. Craig is in Snow White at the Opera House in Manchester until the 29th of December.